Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and let's talk about some stuff I heard. I've been listening to a few podcasts lately. Um, Most recently, there's been a podcast out there with Tulsi Gabbard basically coming forward, renouncing the Democratic Party as her party, and she's encouraging others to do the same. For those who don't know, Tulsi Gabbard was a former U.S. representative. Um, she is a United States Army Reserve officer who's been a combat surgeon. She has served Hawaii's second congressional district from 2013 to 2001. She was the first Hindu member of Congress and also the first Samoan American member of Congress. She was running for president during the last election as a Democrat, and the Democratic Party decided to shun her because she made Kamala Harris look like a fool because she pointed out the fact that Kamala Harris had locked up more African Americans than anybody in history. And that her policies were directed towards racism and to promoting racism and so on and so forth. And when that happened, she had to drop out of the race. And then the Democratic Party decided that Tulsi was the bad guy, and they basically disowned her. So Tulsi apparently has come out and said, I can no longer say that I am a part of the Democratic Party or in promotion of this because they have obviously treated things like free speech and civil liberties as uh, something that they have control of, and they no longer want anyone to have a say. And it was an impressive um, coming forward um, of her basically commitment, saying, um, what is it? I'm trying to click on it. The truth is not subjective. I'm trying not to do this as a volume thing. The truth is not subjective. I could no longer stay in a party that thinks that the truth is whatever they say it is, that denies objective realities, such as the difference between men and women, and that tries to discredit or silence anyone who dares challenge them. Um, she's an impressive person. If you don't know who Tulsi Gabbard is, I highly recommend checking her out on anything social media wise. She's been on Joe Rogan many times. Most recently, she was on and they had a very good discussion about the fact that a two-party system is designed to only be a two-party system. Ever since Ross Perot ran for president and he had too many of the votes that the other two decided was just wrong, they rigged the system. They rigged the entire system so that you have to be one of the two parties in order to be president, and that needs to change. Um, Everything starts with a ripple. Maybe this is the ripple. Maybe this is the thing that gets people's attention. Um, her biggest concern right now is that she feels that Russia may decide to unleash nuclear war upon the planet. And it's a very real fear. Um, Most Americans make light of it. Most of the world makes light of it. And it should be taken very seriously. It is a possibility. We want to distract ourselves with things like the other stuff I'm going to talk about in this podcast. Um, Other stuff that I've heard and watched and TV shows and this and that and the other. But there's the very real possibility that Russia, as a superpower, has a um, very nuclear centric military, as a last resort, may decide it's the first resort. And she has been saying this ever since the election, that the people who are in power were almost pushing us towards that inevitability for their own personal gain. I highly recommend checking out Tulsi Gabbard's interview with Joe Rogan. I've linked it. I'm sure you can find it anywhere where you type in the two things together. It's an eye opener for sure. It's an eye opener. So check that out. Now to switch gears about something light that is not nuclear war. Just we'll just pivot really hard, okay? I watched a movie on Netflix called Jexy. It's starring Adam Devine. Um, Really funny guy. The premise of the show is kind of interesting. Basically, it is this guy named Phil has a major dependency issue. He's addicted to his cell phone. He has no friends, and his love life is non existent. Forced to upgrade to a new phone, Phil soon learns that his latest model comes with Jexy, an artificial intelligence life coach, virtual assistant, and cheerleader. With his help, he begins to get a real life, but becomes less dependent on the phone, and Jexy starts to morph into a tech nightmare that is determined to keep Phil all to herself or all to itself. Uh, it's very cute. It's voiced. The Jexy app is voiced by Rose Byrne. Wanda Sykes is in it. Michael Pena, Kid Cudi. Um, it's a cute little movie. I really enjoyed it. Most people, I'm sure, overlooked it. It got like 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. But listen, I liked it. So whatever. It is what it is. Okay. Uh, She-Hulk had their finale, and I know a lot of people who are fans of Marvel and are casual fans of watching the different Marvel shows have sort of been on the fence about She-Hulk, saying that they either like it or they don't like it, and they're like, "This is really stupid. I don't know what they're doing." It was set up to be a breaking the fourth wall lawyer show with a superhero as one of the characters. That's how it was set up, and I think a lot of people were expecting Iron Man or another Thor. This is not that. The main character is very, very aware of the fact that she's in a television show. Like she makes comments to you, the viewer, breaking the fourth wall, saying stuff like, "Did we do this in episode two? Wait, I thought this was my episode. Why are we having this guy?" And the season finale takes it even further. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm not just fast forward a little bit because I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so in the season finale, like she breaks the fourth wall enough to go into the Disney app itself on your main screen and bust through and climb out and then climb in other apps that are on your menu screen so that she can talk to the directors and the heads of Marvel because she's like, no, 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 this is my show. None of this makes sense. You writers are all off board. And she enters the boardroom of writers and directly comes after them as She-Hulk, demanding that they explain themselves as to why they chose what they did. And they keep saying, "Oh, we just did what Kevin wanted," meaning Kevin Feige, who is, controlling all of the plots and storylines of Marvel. So she's like, "I need to see Kevin." Oh, no, 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 you can't see Kevin. So she busts into where Kevin is, and come to find out, Kevin is this uh like a robot thing with eyes, and it's got like a visor hat type thing like Kevin normally wears, like a black baseball cap built into the camera system, and it's the KEVIN, and it stands for some algorithm of whatever. Anyway, it's cute. It's very cute. Okay. She has a conversation with it, and as a lawyer, she defends her case to the Kevin, and the Kevin then decides, "Oh wait, you're right. This is a better finale." Listen, I have said watching this show, there are moments that I think it's really clever, and there's moments where I think it's really stupid. Ultimately, I like it. I think they've done a great job. This is a funny episode. This is by far their best episode. The final episode was just awesome. Loved it. Loved it. Great job, She-Hulk. All right, now switching gears again. On Amazon Prime, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. I've liked this from the beginning. I can't explain why. I guess it's the pacing and the fact that right away they make sure that you care about the characters, and there's just enough magic and intrigue to make you go, "Wait, I want to see what happens next. Who is that person? How are they connected? Where is this all going to lead? They kind of look like hobbits. What are they? The Harefoot? What is a Harefoot? Is it kind of like a hobbit?" This is all very cool. It says that this happened like 178, or maybe I'm mixing up two shows. It happened way before the Lord of the Rings show. Okay, so this is cool. We get introduced to who Sauron is. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. We get we get introduced to who Sauron is, who's the ultimate bad guy in the Lord of the Rings. And you sort of see who a lot of the characters start off as and why they were in the position they were and why they were making some of the decisions they were. And it's very interesting the way it played out because right away you're not really 100% on board with who the bad guy or who the good guy is, if that makes any sense. Um, it's very interesting. I'm really liking the show. all the way through to the final episode. I thought every single one of them was good. There are some slow moments because they're trying to give you a build up for who the characters are, but each episode has got enough in it to keep you entertained. On the flip side, let's talk about the House of Dragon. Okay, so HBO's got House of Dragon. It's supposed to be a super prequel to the whatever the Game of Thrones. So anyway, we're introduced to these characters, and honestly, for me, the show did not get interesting until the seventh or eighth episode, which is a very long time for you to give a crap about any of these characters. I realize that a lot of shows want to give you background information to make you care about them so that when there's a climactic point, you're like, oh, that's why they did all that. And listen, watching Game of Thrones was very much like that too. We had lots of seasons where my wife would be sitting next to me watching it, and she'd go, "This episode, nothing happened. Like they're all they're doing is just wasting time." And I'm like, "Well, they're sort of setting up for this thing that's going to come up." And listen, House of Dragon has done something similar, and it took them honestly 7 or 8 episodes for them to find their own pacing for the story. They were trying to tell the background story with you caring about the characters and moving the story forward, and there was a lot of heavy lifting of things that you needed to see so that the stuff later made any sense. If you follow along. Okay, so episode 9 I watched this morning just came out. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. Now we're into it. Now things are happening. Now there's a great battle that's going to ensue, and you see that there's going to be a great civil war that's going to take place. And the pivotal moment doesn't happen until season 8. At the end, or not season 8, episode 8. At the end of episode 8, the king dies. And so the queen mishears him say something, and immediately decisions are made, and nefarious people are at work, and they're trying to put someone in power who's not been declared to be in power, and someone who doesn't want to be in power, and someone who is incapable of being in power. And everybody feels a way about it. And now it's going to get nasty. Because there's a giant dragon reveal that really sets off the action for the next episode and for the rest of the show. This will be the pivotal moment people talk about. Man, that's when things started getting dirty right there, and it did. It got really good. I'm really starting to care about some of these characters. I made a comment before that the problem with the show is that they haven't shown you any characters that you care about. I mean, they've kind of fallen short. But now we're in it. Now we are full action, people are understanding where their lines are and what lines are being drawn. And there's a line in the sand that's been drawn, and it's going to get real ugly real fast. So I'm liking the House of Dragons now. It took me 8 or 9 episodes, but I like it now. I think next week is the season finale. I think that's what they were saying. So anyway, very cool. We went out of town this weekend to go see Carrie Underwood kick off her is it Denim and Rhinestones or Rhinestones and Denim? I'm not exactly sure how they Denim and Rhinestone tour. There you go. We saw her perform in Greenville, South Carolina. Very cool show. I do not currently own any Carrie Underwood music. I know that she's super popular. I watched her when she was on American Idol. Everybody knows the biggest songs that she's had out on the radio. And I knew that going into this, I was familiar with a good bit of her music because a lot of it has hit the charts. And of course, when I'm riding with other drivers, I get to hear all of the big hits. And so friends of ours are super fans, and they were like, "Hey, we want to go." And I was like, "Let's do it. Sounds like fun." And it was fun. We got in there, had some pretty good seats. Right off the bat, I thought it was kind of interesting. Just before she took the stage, they're like playing music through a DJ and stuff. And the Ace of Spades was playing just before she took the stage, which is a real high energy, kind of a almost punk rockish kind of sound. Very rock and roll, fast paced. And I don't know if they were just playing that for her so she could get amped up and ready to rock the house, but she did. She come right out and she started rocking the place. There were lots of moments where she got to be on these riser things that would lift her way up into the stage setting, like 15, 20 feet high. There were at times fireworks. There were flames on the stage. There was lots of smoke, lots of lasers, lots of lights flashing in all directions. I gotta admit, there were certain times I had to look away because it was almost too much. But super impressive show. Her vocals were strong the entire time. She had maybe 9 costume changes during the thing. We were all debating upon, how many people are under the stage to help her change costumes so quickly. That had to be super fast. Um, but yeah, great show. Lots of good music. There's only a few songs I didn't know. I was actually impressed that I knew most of the songs. And again, because she is such a good singer and she's written some really good songs and they've been popular. I knew most of the music. She even finished off at the end of the night with Guns N' Roses, "Welcome to the Jungle," and I mean, hit every lyric as though she were Axl Rose in his prime. I don't know that he could hit all those notes now. She nailed it and finished off the night with her, took a Louisville slugger to both headlights. That song. That was, I guess, her biggest hit. Great show. Great show. There's a moment where they hook her up to these things and she is on like a swing and she comes out and she's singing as she goes over the audience. And it takes for a second, you look up and you go, oh, she's going to go the entire length of this place because there's a railing system that goes the entire length from one side to the other. And then as she gets over there, you go, there's another stage over here. And she drops down on this other stage and performs a few songs on this other stage. And she's like, I just wanted to be like up close and for everybody to have, for me to have a moment to see you. And I'm sure she's thinking, so you can see me too. And that's, she's not wrong. Like, this is a really good show. There's a moment she drops under that stage and changes costumes and then gets hooked up to this thing that's like a gyrosphere thing that she dangles from at times from different directions and sings another song and she's going back the other way. And it was really cool. We had a great time. I'm impressed with Carrie Underwood. I'm impressed with all of the musicians that were helping out and also the crew. Like, there was a thing there where the crew was at times, pulling extra duty, making sure that she had everything she needed. Because I did notice one time where her microphone sort of, I guess, quit on her. She was singing and this guy came out to do a duet with her. And you see her like this, and all of a sudden she's just like you could tell like something happened because she's shaking it, looking at her people going, I got nothing. And her backup singer lady who was helping out and doing violinists and all kind of stuff, she rushed over, grabbed a microphone and like handed it to her and she slid the dead mic down on the ground. And I was like, oh, I see that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. There's also a moment where suddenly there was an extra set of drums on the stage and I didn't even see them bring them out. And she and the drummer are doing a drum off together. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Look at her go, man. It was impressive. She played guitar. She was just all over the place. She was something. If you have the chance to go see Carrie Underwood in your area, I recommend checking her out. It is quite the show. I've been to a good many concerts. And I really got to say, I've not been to a bad one. Pretty much everybody's been phenomenal. But I was very impressed with her vocals. I was impressed with how strong her vocals were the entire night. It's a lot of demanding songs, a lot of physically strenuous songs, and she nailed all of it. So totally dig it. Love it. So yeah. What else? That's about it. I'm gonna wrap this up. It's a short one today. I am doing a lot of third shift work, and so my sleep is kind of bouncing me around all over the place. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. And we'll pick back up on this another time. So thank you to everybody who listens. If you want to do something for the podcast with me, let me know. If you have any input, write us, leave us a message, call me. I don't care. I'll put it on the show, man. I'll put you on the show. You could be part of the show. You could be the show. I'll interview you. Let's just do the thing. All right. So anyway, please remember, rate, review, subscribe, share this with your friends. And as always, cue the cow. Ooh, baby.
So I want you guys to give me more likes. Give me more likes.